Welcome to Outside the Box, a podcast where we unpack the impact of business relationships. I'm Vanessa Griffiths.
And I'm Olivia Villalta.
And welcome to the first episode. We are the co-founders of Gift Better Co., which is a corporate gifting company rooted in helping businesses build more meaningful connections with their employees, with their clients, with whoever it is that they want to show love to. And we thought it was fitting to start a podcast talking about the power of business relationships and how they can impact careers, business growth, and all of that. So this has been a long time coming.
Too long.
Way too long. And I thought that we would start today by talking about our business relationship. I won't speak for you, but one of the most important and impactful relationships as far as my career goes, for sure. Should we start by talking a little bit about our business?
How we got started?
Yeah,
or
but first, what it is.
Sure.
For the strangers.
So essentially what Gift Better Co. is a highly custom gifting company that works with tech companies that are financial institutions, that are law firms, any company that's looking to build a more meaningful relationship and connect in a very unique way with either their employees or prospects, like Vanessa was mentioning. So the way that we work with our clients right now is we try and understand the purpose of their gift. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to engage their employees? Are they trying to increase customer retention? Understand the values of their business. So once we understand the theme, the values, all of that, we work to curate a custom catalog where we can take all of that, present completely custom gifts, incorporating these values, these themes, these colors in a really unique way. So we are able to, if your company is really big on supporting minority-owned businesses, the gift might be from all minority-owned small businesses across Canada. It could be locally within your city. It could be women-owned businesses, whatever is going to allow you to communicate your values to the recipient. That's what we do. And every gift gives back to a cause. So the gift comes with a card that says that give back statement. So the recipient might open the gift, see the card. The card might say this gift donated to provide access to essential technology for people in need. Maybe if it's a tech company, that might be something that is core to them. It could donate a meal, provide a toy to the treasure chest at Sick Kids Hospital. So lots of different ways to give back and really communicate what matters and what their CSR initiatives are.
That was a good summary.
A long one.
That was a long one. In essence, we are a high-volume custom corporate gifting company that is hyper-focused on helping companies build more meaningful relationships. That is what all that we do comes down to. So we look at that in a lot of different ways, like Olivia touched on, whether it's communicating specific messaging or branding. One of the ones that we focus on a lot is values. So we help companies really put their money where their mouth is in terms of what it is that they care about. I'm sure we'll get into this eventually, but the pattern of companies saying that they care about things and not really putting action behind those things is very prevalent, I would say. And we kind of, in my head at least, the business is a little bit of a call out to companies to say, like, hey, here's an opportunity for you to really show that you care about these things.
And also just to communicate what it is that you do care about so that your employees or their clients can identify with something, and it humanizes the business a little bit more so that it's not just that cold business that you're making a purchase from. There's a little bit more kind of personality and that human connection to it.
For sure. So with that summary, let's get started into how we started, where Gift Better Co. came from. We've been around since 2019, late 2019. And Liv, why don't you tell the story of how we came to be from your perspective? Because we actually haven't really talked about like how we became co-founders a ton.
Wait, like in real life or on the podcast?
What?
We haven't talked about it in real life.
Yeah.
I feel like,
what made you call me?
oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. So,
Because
Yes.
before we start with this.
Yeah.
Olivia and I have been friends for 12 years,
Probably
probably
11.
11 years. And we were cool, but like we were just cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I knew Olivia. We've known each other for a very long time, but we were like chilling. Nothing like we weren't lifelong best friends or anything like
I feel
that.
like we didn't even hang out one-on-one. It was
No.
we hung out in group settings at
Exactly.
parties when
That's what I'm
like
saying.
our boyfriends hung out.
Exactly. We have been chilling for a good 11 years. Um, and I will also say that a co-founder relationship, I know this more now than I did then, is like, oof.
An
Choosing a
actual
co-founder
relationship.
is really choosing a life partner. If you plan to like grow a business, if you plan to grow a business to as big as you can get it, or if you have very real business goals, choosing a co-founder is so critical. And I think that there's so many opportunities for it to go wrong. So I would love to hear about why you chose me.
Okay. Sounds good. I think it goes back to, I guess, I'll start with why I initially wanted to start a business. So Vanessa and I were always very career-driven people. And I think that's what we connected on when we would be at the parties and in the corner nerding out a Shark Tank and Dragon's Den and talking about business related things. Hearing about what you were doing with your career and working with startups and doing all like marketing and different spaces. So I was always really interested in what you were doing, especially because it was different from what I was doing. And I was moving up the ladder at the corporate job that I was in, and still never felt fully fulfilled. And for a while, I just thought that that meant getting another job, trying something different. And I think some people can probably relate to understanding that when you work your way up high enough within a company, it's very hard to transition into another job because it's like, what can I do for someone else? Like, what are my transferable skills? What do I want to do? So, ended up grabbing a coffee with one of my personal mentors. That's now one of our business mentors. And I was talking to him about another job opportunity that I was looking at and also some business ideas that I had. And he had heard about my business ideas throughout the years. And one of the most kind of significant moments for me was when he said, I think you're going to switch jobs and you're always going to end up back in the same place of wondering, should I just start a business? Because he's like, I see the way that you are when you talk about these career opportunities, and I see the way you are when you talk about your business ideas, and you just light up when you talk about starting a business. And I was just, I think, way too scared to actually commit to leaving a job, starting a company, all of that. So it still took a little while after that. But I remember pacing back and forth in my living room at my my now rental property. And I was home alone. I think I just talked to Sean, my now fiance, about like, I think I need to consider starting a business. And I don't want to do it alone, but I don't know who I would ever do that with because, like Vanessa said, it is like a full commitment of a relationship, which I think, again, I don't think I knew the gravity of like what that was at the time either.
No.
Yeah, I think until you do it, you just don't know. But I was so scared, and I was like, I think I might ask Vanessa if she would be, if she's ever thought of it. And I debated it, and I was like, maybe, I honestly don't know why I asked you because you had never said that you were interested in it. I just knew that you were interested in business and you were very ambitious and you freelanced on the side. So all those things made me think, okay, if I'm going to ask someone, I'll ask Vanessa. So I sent her a text, said, hey, have you ever thought of starting a business? And
Little
Did
take
you
it
from
from
there?
I basically always had my foot halfway out the door of every job that I've ever worked. And that's for many different reasons. Um, Undiagnosed ADHD, limited career growth, like in jobs that I was in, boredom. I always kind of just was freelancing, like you said. Um, I started out my career in PR, and I very quickly figured out that I wasn't going to get all of the skills that I wanted to get from just one job. Because for me, I was like panicking 'cause there's just so much to learn. I just knew how much I didn't know, and I wanted to learn it all quickly. And so I would take on any random freelance job that came my way, and I would go looking for those opportunities. I was showing up at different panels and networking events and conferences, whatever. So I had, like you said, I had already been freelancing, and I was kind of at a point in my job where I had given in what started out as 2 weeks notice that ended up being like 6 weeks notice. Um, and I didn't really have a plan for after that. I was going to just freelance full time because I had been matching my salary with freelance work for quite a while at that point. So I felt kind of not super confident, I would say, but I was just like, yeah, it'll be fine. That's kind of my attitude with most things. Was like, it'll be okay. Whatever happens, happens. And I had the same kind of reckoning of like, I'm not super happy in the role that I'm in right now. I don't see a path forward that's going to bring me the fulfillment that I want or that I go looking for every 6 months. And then I was like, okay, so I'll take some time to freelance and kind of do my own thing. And then Olivia called and derailed that completely.
What were your thoughts when you got that text message?
Um, when I got the text of you asking to start a business, I was like, oh, cool, yeah, sure. Another person who's down to like be annoyingly analytical. That is kind of because I could watch, like, I watch Dragon's Den and Shark Tank or whatever for entertainment, but I think about it way too much after, and like, I'm like, why do they have this issue? And then I go into problem solving, and I think that's probably why we connected at parties, like the fun people that we are. So we're like really trying.
They're so annoying.
We are so annoying. We're like, what if they don't?
I honestly feel bad for like all the other
Everybody around us.
that just had to have their drinks, you know.
Everybody around us. It was horrible. Anyways, yeah. So Olivia and I decided to be insufferable together, and that's how Gift Wonderful started.
Should we talk about the graveyard of businesses?
Yes. So Gift Writer did not just emerge out of nowhere. Olivia just texted me saying, do you want to start a business? Not this business idea. She had no clue. Well, we had some ideas right away, but essentially we met every week for over a year.
Yeah.
Brainstorming different business ideas. And they would range from like makeup brush washing companies.
What?
Yes. To like
Why do I remember
products.
that?
Because we were
What was it?
I was just like, I hate washing my makeup brushes. I hate doing it. I would love for somebody to pick them up and bring them back clean.
I think we just went through every single problem.
No, yeah, like literally any minor inconvenience that we would run into throughout the week, we would come like, can we put a business model around this? Which honestly was a good exercise and very fun.
It was. It really was. Yeah.
Now, every time that happens, we're like, new business idea, and then just forget about it. But we really did spend time thinking, like fleshing out a lot of these things, and we got probably too far with quite a few of them.
Oh man.
Do we want to talk about the business graveyard specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's give them some stories.
So
the one we made it the furthest with was the travel lifestyle company, Wander Wish List. What was it called? No, Wander.
Yeah, something like that.
No, that might have been a business that me and Sean.
No, that was us.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah, that was gonna. Honestly, I've never done drop shipping. Seems like a great model to get your feet wet. But we ordered so many samples of different items that we were going to be drop shipping. And like the experience of receiving those samples turned me off of the business completely because I was like, this can't be like customer experience is a really big deal to me. and I think it should be to most founders. Like, you want
You want to be
people
proud
to
of what
have,
you're doing.
yeah, you want people to have a positive interaction at every stage of their business. So even after they pay you, you want that experience to be continued and to be positive. When I was receiving the items, I was like losing my mind at how much tape was around them and the packaging that they came in. And
Horrible.
cheap, like
The quality
the
of the
products and the quality of the items itself is like a whole different story. But just like the way that we were receiving them was making me dread it.
The only thing I kept was like a T-shirt that said something about travel that I got rid of recently.
Oh,
It was a
still
pajama
have them.
shirt.
They drive DJ crazy. And I have like some.
We should frame one in our office.
Honestly, yes. That's a great idea. Yeah, so we actually got pretty far with that. Like Olivia said, we had decided on like 100 different products that we were gonna potentially launch with. Even though, again, when they came, we were like, no, never mind. We had a logo made on
No,
Upwork.
did we? I think I drew it.
No, I have it drawn, but then we
Yeah.
also were like trying to get it made on Upwork. And
That's embarrassing.
no, not even Upwork. It was Fiverr, which peace and love to Fiverr, but it's not the place to go for creative consultation. So when we said something like cursive letters with a compass, and they said cursive letters on a compass, like that is what you're getting.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. And I do have those somewhere, I'm sure. Wonder Wishlist, RIP.
Okay, wait. The other one we got far with.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you got it.
I had / currently still love acai. Love. Like I told Vanessa last week, it was part of my personality. It's not as much anymore. So I was thinking, how could we use acai that is a superfruit, has all these benefits in a different way? Like, how can we come up with something more unique? Vanessa had worked. Stop. It's so crazy that we thought that we could do this.
We thought that we had cracked a code. Okay,
Man.
continue.
So, not that like someone can't do it, but like we needed a bit more resources for this to actually ever become.
Well, just like some research
let's say
on
the
the
idea.
actual benefits.
For sure. There is a lot of research on the benefits of acai, not
your
in the
skin and
way,
hair?
not to skin and hair. So we said, if it's that good to eat, it's gotta be good to put on your skin and in your hair. So I literally still have a contact in the actual Amazon rainforest in Brazil. I was working directly with the harvesters of acai to get the product shipped directly to us. And somehow we were going to be chemists and turn it into a face mask or hair mask.
Shelf stable,
Safe
to put on your face.
Yeah. Because competing with L'Oreal is easy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. So Vanessa was the guinea pig.
It did not go well.
I think I got a call one day saying like my face is purple.
Oh yeah, the purple is one thing, but I've realized it took me 20 million years, but I have sensitive skin.
Yeah.
Random oils on your face, not great for sensitive skin. I broke out all the time.
Because I think, were we also getting acai oil?
Yeah.
And some like other
And I was putting it on my face, just straight from the tiny bottle from the rainforest.
And we were just trying to take like the powder and make it into like a mud mask.
Insane.
Oh.
Anyways, so
If someone has a lot of money, I think there still is a gap in the market.
like
there.
a lot of money is not enough money. Take it.
Yeah.
Because you have to do trials. You have to do research on what each ingredient is doing to your face.
The insurance on that? Don't want to know how much
I don't want to know. But at the time, it made sense. I had worked in natural beauty before, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
I loved eating acai. It was a match made in heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically all you need to start a skincare line.
Yeah.
What were some other ones? Ironically, we were thinking of creating like a influencer starter kit, like a content creator starter kit.
Yeah.
Where we would just essentially drop ship all the stuff that you would need to start a YouTube channel in a box.
Yeah, here we are trying to start a podcast and
That business would come in handy today.
It does exist. I saw it when I was playing.
Yeah.
but I still didn't buy it.
Well, that's a shame.
Thank God we didn't start it. What was another one?
We had some agency ideas.
Yep.
Something
Influencer,
shower.
masterclass, but made by creators.
Yeah, which YouTube just did, obviously.
Yeah. And we were like, if YouTube does this, we're screwed. And then I think they did it like right away.
Immediately.
Might have already been in progress.
For sure. We also had an idea of like, how can we, and this was I guess it would have been 2018 when we were doing these meetings. So it's like right approaching the peak of the like YouTube beauty vibe.
This one was a good one.
Yeah. So the makeup industry from like 2016 to 2019, I would say, was like booming. There was every brand was doing a collab with every influencer. It was insane. And we have a friend who was experiencing a lot of like the chaos that comes along with trying to launch one of those collabs. And we were just hearing from like a project management standpoint and people not knowing deadlines and trying to organize different work back schedules and get all the pieces to fit together to roll out a proper launch. And Olivia and I, our friend was just venting to us as a friend, and Olivia and I are scheming on the side like, you're hearing this? Sounds like there's some room for some consultants in here.
Yeah.
And we were thinking of kind of being the middleman between the influencers and the brands, which...
That, but also like, there was one idea of being the middleman and helping them work with brands, but also just how do you help an influencer start their own brand of like if they don't know the business side of things.
Because we know the business side of launching makeup.
I actually did from when I was a lot younger. Like I did work when I was 16. They shouldn't have let me do this, but I did work with like cosmetics manufacturers in like China to work on packaging and stuff.
Yeah.
But also I was 16 and it was like, I did that for 2-3 years. So
yeah. So, which not to say that like skip to Gift Better Co. Neither of us had been great corporate gifters in the past. Mm-hmm. We started Gift Better Co. largely because again we were experiencing a problem firsthand, kind of twofold. So I was wrapping up the last couple weeks at my job, and I was given the task of gifting for clients for holiday. I had a list of 100 clients, I had a budget, and I was told, get them something impressive. So me, being an overthinker who also didn't know any of the clients, was stressing about that. It took me way too long to like scour the internet for an individual gift for every person. I was trying to create Facebook pages. I was like, oh, this person ran a marathon. Let's do blah, blah, blah. Like, it was insane how over-researched I was and how much time it took, considering it was my last 2 weeks at a job. I spent so much time with me, and then I would reach out to the clients to get their address, and they would say, you know what? Make a donation to the Austin Animal Shelter instead. I was like, but I already got your lovely gift. So that was a challenge. And I also, in that moment, realized how much money was being spent on gifts for things like holiday. And being a marketer, I had already known how much was being spent on gifts throughout the year for just like client experience gifts. So whether it was at conferences, we would organize these like really cool, we would have like the general promo stuff for people that walked by the booth. And then when clients came to the booth, we were giving them like the VIP kind of things. So I knew how much money and time went into organizing things like that. And then we were also, at the same time, trying to send a gift to one of our friends who lived in California. And we couldn't really find anything that was, like, not a gift basket wrapped in cellophane that was, like, fun for her to receive. But we couldn't shop for individual items, obviously, or we didn't want to.
And also, it would have been a lot more complicated to order all those individual
100%.
items to our house, wrap it, send
Yeah.
it.
We were looking for something pre-packed, aesthetically pleasing, full of things that she would want to use and want to, like, would be fun to open. And then we kind of paired that notion with the idea of giving back because we knew that companies or people were often hesitant to receive business gifts from companies because they kind of suck. A lot of them are not great, and a lot of people don't want another insert random promotional object here. So we kind of set out on a mission to curate gift boxes full of things that people were actually excited to open and to use, and have each of those gift boxes give back to a cause so that everybody could feel good about the gift exchange, even if they didn't love the items that were in exchange. And that is how Gift Better Co. came to be.
I think timing plays a big part of it also, because I think we would have kept just saying, okay, maybe Gift Better Co. is not it, or we didn't have a name for it, but maybe this corporate gifting business isn't it. Keep working on it, get to a point where we see how competitive the space is and decide to not do it. But thankfully we didn't. I think I had reached a point, Vanessa had left her job. I had reached a point in my job where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just need to start a business, whichever one it is. And I think that just happened to be the one that we were working on at the time. And we felt really good about it, but I don't even think we had gotten as far as like the research on the acai business or the other ones, where that kind of like stopped us in our tracks. So I'm thankful that I reached a breaking point and just said like, okay, we're sticking with this one. Let's give it a
ground
go.
Zero. Yeah.
Start from ground zero. So,
and there are a couple things that I agree timing played a huge role in why we stuck with it. I think just building on the fact that timing, so we landed on the Gift Better Co. idea in, say, November.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that holiday was a big time for companies to buy gifts. So we had to really rush to get a launch to test the market.
It lit a fire.
Immediately. So we had that looming deadline, which lit a fire and made us at least see through to the launch of the website, which was a huge step. And then once we launched the website and made some sales, we were like, well, we're in it now.
We did it.
We did it.
I have no job. So I guess we need to make this work.
I guess business owners.
Yeah.
And another couple of things that really impacted kind of us starting the business, like you said, it felt good. Olivia and I both are pretty like conscious of the impact that business can have on people, for better or for worse, and that, I mean, employees, clients, society at large. And so choosing a business model that is very intentional about giving back is something that like helps me kind of stay the course a lot. Also, again, budget. We had known from the beginning and agreed that we wanted to focus on corporate gifting because we have no desire to be competing with Indigo and Amazon and Walmart for the woman who's looking for a gift for her sister and for her mom, or the girls like us who are looking to send a gift to their friend for their birthday. We want no part in that.
The loyalty is just very different in the sense of like, and it makes sense. I do it also if I'm buying my mom a gift from Indigo one year. I might go to the Gap for Christmas, and then I might go somewhere at the Bay for something else. So just understanding that there's not going to be a lot of loyalty in the B2C gifting space. And that exists a lot more in B2B, because why would Vanessa, marketing manager, buying gifts and gifting is not her job? Why would she want to look for a different company every single time when they can service her in a unique, different way every single time?
Yeah. So it ended up being kind of a mix of so many things that matter to us. We get to be kind of creative consultants in our role and really listen to the needs and the ideas of different people within a company and create something or propose ideas based on what they're saying. So it's consultative, it's still very creative. It gives back, which we love. And then we're not competing with Amazon, which is lovely.
And I think we felt confident in our skill sets. I was working in like high volume operations management, and had managed people, and managed processes, as well for like operational efficiency, and Vanessa working extensively in like startup marketing, and had managed corporate gifting herself. Like both of those things kind of complement each other and we specialize in high volume custom corporate gifting. So those I think went well together also.
Yep.
And then we started. We built a website. We put, how many gifts do you think we put on there?
I would say probably 7.
7. I think our first purchase, we launched the website. I was in Mexico with my friend, and the first purchase came through from someone from high school, a friend from high school. And I still don't think they know that they were our first purchase. And it was a B2C purchase, so probably not that.
But we launched with that.
Yeah. We just essentially put up a website to say, like, will someone buy a gift that we make? If they will, then in the new year, we'll launch our corporate offering.
Custom offering.
Yeah.
Yeah. That first 3 months was just proving to ourselves that we could get something off the ground and somebody would pay us for something.
Yeah.
Which is so funny to me to think about because I was already doing freelance. You've done freelance makeup. We already kind of had that
People have
validation. Yeah. But bringing that to the finish line was huge for us. And then that gave us the confidence to start really putting reaching out to people for help for the business. We're like, hey, we're not going to tell anybody about this until it's a real thing in case we decide to let it flop like the acai stuff. So going into the new year, we had a lot of confidence and we're ready to speak to people and be founders. Mm-hmm. And that is where things really started to shift.
Yeah.
I think.
So from January until March, we worked on what's going to be our core offering. At the time, the plan was to have gifts in-house ready to go at any time, which now we know limits our selection so much. But we launched with, let's say, 10 gifts, ordered all the products to my house. My entire living room was a warehouse. And then March 2020, we were stoked to launch. We were ready to go. We had our B2B offering all set up. And the same week that we were ready to press go, we had to stay home. The pandemic hit. So we said, okay, let's give it a week, see what's going on. Let's give it another week, see what's going on. Okay, now the world is in panic and crisis, and we can't tell people to
think about gifts right now.
Buy our gifts right now. So that was a little bit challenging. Looking back, obviously I wish the pandemic never happened, but it did push our business in a direction that was higher volume, that I think brought us into a space that was a little bit more underserved in terms of competition. But essentially what happened is we started having meetings about, where is the gap right now with a pandemic? Where are people not able to build strong relationships, or where were relationships really just the major key to success for them, that they're going to need something to connect to their clients or their employees in a meaningful way now that they can't see people in person anymore. And I think that's really where our conversations about the importance of business relationships really came into effect. And we were obviously feeling the impact of lack of personal relationships with the pandemic coming, and
everything about relationships was amplified. The lack of connection was felt so deeply on a personal level for all of us, and businesses were also starting to really feel it too.
Mm-hmm. So we started brainstorming, and the two spaces, I guess the first space that we started tapping into was financial advisors. So financial advisors are people that have high net worth clients that spend a lot of money on relationships with their clients, whether that be taking them to lunch, taking them golfing, whatever it may be. And so much of what they do is based on trust and relationships, because there are a lot of financial advisors that all know, that are very intelligent people, and who you choose is really based on that relationship. So we started interviewing as many people as we could to ask them, hey, is this something that you need? What are the challenges that you're having? what are the pain points, how much do you normally spend on your clients in a year. And we realized that they were looking for gifting options, but the gifting options on the market really were just too expensive to send to their top 100 clients. A lot of the gifting companies, the gifts start at around $100. And when you need to send that to 100 people, it gets expensive very quickly. So we said, how can we create something that is still meaningful, but is like a small moment of connection at a lower price point, at a higher volume, and like thank you to the people that bought the gifts early on, because they were not some room our best work. There was on an aesthetic front for here. Yeah. I cringe. I know about those sometimes. I know. But they were a nice little touch in a very hectic time. Yeah. And honestly, our clients seemed to like it back then. And they've grown with us. Thank goodness. They stuck around. Yep. And found out that we can do better. I think in terms of just like starting a business, you're always just going to have the people that are willing to understand that you are a brand new business. I remember, I don't know if I should shout out any names, but a certain financial advisor, we had gone for coffee. He wanted to hear about like why we started the business, and he supported us and bought our gifts because we were a new business that like you could tell he just wanted to support us, and we happened to fill a need that he was like willing to pay money for. But it's really like, if you're working with small businesses, like understand how impactful those first purchases are. And the grace of like giving people the opportunity to like try and work on something is so important. It's huge. And that's something else that I love about our business is the fact that we get to work with so many small businesses. Yeah. Like we get to get those. We get to be, I never thought about that. Oh, like we get to be those like first orders sometimes. 100%. First orders, biggest orders, because typically deal in pretty high volume. So we are often small businesses' biggest orders, and I love that so much. So what are 3 qualities that everybody should look for in a co-founder? 3 qualities that everyone should look for in a co-founder. I tell people, don't get a co-founder if you don't have a person in mind already, because I think there is a lot of risk in starting a business with a co-founder, and you will spend more time looking for someone rather than just starting a business. And you can always bring someone on when you find the right person later on. I would say in terms of what you'd be looking for, someone that you can have like proper conflict resolution with.
Ooh, that's a whole episode.
Yeah. Just because, like we mentioned earlier, it is an actual relationship. Someone that you can trust, and someone that you I don't know. Someone that I would say someone that like shares the same vision as you, or like and that vision does not have to be the specific business idea, but in terms of like what you both want the business to become.
Yeah. Huge.
What about you?
Okay. The top 3 qualities I'm saying would look for in a business like a co-founder, because I didn't look for a co-founder. So that's interesting. In a startup. So let's just get this out there and try to solve it, or just try to solve it or do what we can about the problem. So yeah, those are the 3.
I feel like at the beginning of our business relationship, I spent so much time trying to like not hurt your feelings, not upset you. Like that's kind of just how I am as a person. Yeah. And over the years, I've learned, I'm just going to say it.
Just say it.
Vanessa can take it. I'll just say it. And then she says what she needs to say. Yeah. And we all move on.
I also probably did that. I probably could have done it more. I think part of the caveat to like loving honesty a lot is like not recognizing when things can be softened. But we kind of figured that out over time, I think,
Yeah.
of like, you also understand now that I'm not trying to be.
We know
Rude.
each other's intent. And that
Yes.
goes back too to like,
Yeah.
we were friends in group settings, but when you don't have like the underlying like trust of like, I know that I can say this and it will be okay. And I think that just is the nature of all relationships. Time, and you can't speed that up as much as you want to sometimes. But you have to kind of go through the challenges of communicating poorly or not ideally, and then you figure out like what works for us is not what works for me communicating with other people. So
probably not at all.
No.
I would be willing to bet it would be very ineffective elsewhere, but it works for us. But yeah, communication is huge, and just being willing to say the hard thing, because sometimes the hard thing to you is not a hard thing to somebody else. I think that is something that you and I like. I'm like, what are you trying to say right now? Yeah, just say it. Like, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's change it. Yeah. And that's a big one. But that kind of sums up our co-founder relationship. Oh, here's another question, actually. What's been the biggest change in our co-founder relationship that has made it better?
That has made it. I think just we say what we need to say. I think like understanding that there were things that I think built up resentment because we didn't say them, and then you get like little snippets of like, and I personally feel people's moods a lot. So like, let's say if you're frustrated with something, whether I did something or I didn't do something, I know that Vanessa's frustrated. So I think trusting that you will just tell me if you're frustrated about something has for me changed our relationship a lot, because I don't have to wonder. I'll just assume Vanessa's probably in a bad mood because she had a bad day, and I'll ask you about your day. Rather than assuming that it has something to do with us. So I think that honesty and transparency and just say it has like made the biggest difference on my end from like the beginning of our relationship. What about you?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the random business coaching things that we've had have actually been very helpful. Olivia and I had how long was that? A year? I feel like it's still happening, but we have had 2 different kind of business coaches that have helped us a lot. It was helpful for us to get more clear on each other's intentions in like a way that wasn't like I have to say everything that I say. It's just like we would have conversations about things that were unrelated to us specifically, and realize like, oh, we actually do align on a lot of things. Yeah. We're just maybe I'm grumpy or you're tired or whatever, and that kind of gets in the way of things. And that was very helpful to like have bigger kind of vision conversations more often, to know like, hey, we're trying to achieve the same thing here. So if your way makes the most sense right now, let's do that, or whatever. Something also, shout out Unicorn Labs for Sue and Unicorn Labs. Yes. We learned a lot from them. I think something that also came out of those sessions is celebrating wins. We're like very quick to something good happens, then it's like, okay, now we just need to execute on that good thing that happened. But pausing to like, or being forced to pause, I feel like we aren't good at like saying we did a good job about something. But in those sessions, that allowed us to like stop and say, I'm proud of this, and this that happened, and slow us down a little bit, which was nice. Yeah. I think that helped me personally. I don't know our relationship necessarily. But true. Actually, no, I that didn't have to do with our relationship. But no. It was just helpful. Like, very helpful. I agree. But I do think also, like, in terms of slowing down, I think, and that goes back to a bigger vision conversation, but like having those conversations about like setting pace has also been very helpful from me personally, from like not feeling so overwhelmed when like we're racing to this finish line, is like understanding that both of our priorities include like getting to wherever we want to get in one piece.
Oh,
yes. So that has been very helpful too, and just like reassessing our pace when we're taking on too much and being able to have conversations about like, okay, if we decide to go in this direction, what does it mean, and what does it mean for the rest of our lives outside of work, because we do like to have lives outside of work. Yeah. And that has been really helpful too. And just getting comfortable with like being like, hey, I don't think that this is going to align well with like
what both of us
being able to see my kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you crying?
No.
Oh, yeah, eyes are watering.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Like, I could cry about that, but I'm not.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Oh,
I'm fine.
Cool. Well, that is episode 1 of Outside the Box.
For anyone that tuned in, thanks for listening.
Thanks again for listening to Outside the Box. We'll see you next time.